Alright, here we go. What up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Second try at this video today. We're going to be talking all about the main event of the upcoming Battlegrounds pay-per-view, which is that last night is going to be Seth Rollins going up against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar finally making his return to the WWE since WrestleMania 31. We saw him show up the night after WrestleMania and basically say that he was going to fight on Monday Night Raw live for free. Fucking awesome. I lost my shit that night. I went crazy. I knew that more than likely Brock wasn't going to get his title back. I knew that it was going to be some sort of a bullshit finish. I was actually thinking we were going to get a finish, but Rollins ended up getting into the ring and just running away. Nobody wins, nobody loses. Match is just basically thrown out. And, Brock goes off to Canada. Goes out, hunts some bears, farms the land, as Paul Heyman puts it. And, we sat through and we watched basically Seth Rollins, run through all competitors, keeping the championship. Now, the tide has changed as we head into Battleground. It seems that if Seth Rollins is on the babyface turn, it seems that if he's, run out of luck with the authority and that everyone has turned against him, he is going to be, riding solo from here on out. Triple H has cut him loose. I think that the writing of the story about why basically they're on their own now is kind of weak, because when you look at it, Triple H is pissed that Seth didn't ask for help, that Seth is actually able to win these battles. Before Seth Rollins went into the match against Dean Ambrose, the ladder match at the show, Triple H really gave him an uplifting, promo, basically telling him, you're the guy I picked, you're the guy that we're going with. And basically, Seth Rollins was able to go into the match. He was able to win it on his own, beating a damn good competitor, taking out the knee and, playing a smart match in there. And at the end of it, Triple H is pissed that, he didn't have to go out there and help his guy. This falls all back on the same angle that they were basically doing with Randy Orton, where it was Randy Orton's championship, but because it was, the WWE's championship and Triple H is in charge of WWE, basically that makes it Triple H's championship. And even though Triple H isn't going out to the ring and fighting these battles and fighting these fights, when the belt is in the authority, it's like Triple H is the champion. And basically Triple H wants, somebody to pat his back and get him over to the point of where they're going. Brock Lesnar coming back to Monday Night Raw definitely was able to give it a big, jump at the end of the show. But honestly, I know that WWE likes to, pay it off as a surprise that Brock is coming. And I know that more than likely, if you watch the Stevie Breach channel or you watch other YWC videos from other guys, people like us know that Brock is coming. It's in the dirt sheets. It's reported. Basically, you can go read the Wrestling Observer, and it gives you a whole list of dates. This is when Brock is working Monday Night Raw. This is when Brock is working pay-per-views. He's working the live special over in Japan. It's no surprise when Brock Lesnar is going to be there. But they don't advertise it. You're paying Brock a shit load of money. You should have every eye on your show that could be there. I know that you went up against the Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup last night. I'm sure that you've gone up against NBA playoff games in the past. Ring of Honor looks like they might be going up against an NBA Finals game on Friday if the Warriors can't pull this out. But you want to have every eye watching it that's possibly there. Brock Lesnar is must-see television if you're talking about WWE, so it doesn't make sense why WWE wouldn't be saying, tune into Monday Night Raw tonight. Sometimes, like when Daniel Bryan was on Raw last time, they announced it 10 minutes before Raw went on the air on the WWE Network on the pre-show. If you're watching the pre-show, you're already going to watch Monday Night Raw. You're that 10% of the wrestling community that cares enough to tune into the pre-show and listen to, Tunga and those guys will babble on about something. 9 out of 10 people who watch Monday Night Raw aren't going to want to watch another hour of wrestling that isn't even wrestling. It's just talking about things that might happen or things that happened on the show that you watched last night that was 3 hours, and then you have 3 hours ahead of you. I think they need to fine-tune that pre-show a little bit to make it must-see television. even if you have to shoot shows for WWE Superstars and show the matches on the pre-show, it's not like Superstars is doing, you know, must-see numbers. Anything that can make that pre-show a little bit bigger and a little bit better. Making some sort of an angle that if you're like, damn, I missed the pre-show, that means I didn't get to see the beginning of this. And then don't play the thing 17 times during Monday Night Raw. Anything like that to fine-tune it. But, you know, Brock coming back versus Rollins is going to be a damn good match. I'm really pumped to see this. You know, Brock is going to be able to manhandle Rollins, throw him all over the ring. And it's going to be fun to see how Rollins gets out of this one and a win over Brock Lesnar. Maybe this is going to be what brings back the Shield to being back together. If they can find some way to get, you know, Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns all on the same playing field. I know that they have heat with each other, but maybe their, you know, their hatred of the Authority can bring them back together where they can play ball as a team. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you, talking a little bit about wrestling. Just got out of the gym, about to head over to work to start my awesome day of work before my weekend. I got the next 2 days off, so they should be a ton of fun. But as we're counting it down, we're talking a little bit about Battleground and how they really flipped the script on Monday, going in to this week of Monday Night Raw. It seemed like Seth Rollins had a babyface turn, and Brock Lesnar was playing the heel with sort of the backing of the Authority. Triple H giving the match to try and push Seth Rollins to see, you know, how good he really is, and to see if he really is the future of the WWE, to see if he's going to crumble under the pressure. It was almost seeming like when they were in the ring and Triple H was naming this match before he brought out Brock Lesnar, it seemed like he was basically hoping that Seth Rollins was going to lose this match. You know, even after he gave that big Money in the Bank promo before the match against Ambrose and nobody came out to help him, it seemed like, you know, that was going to be the proving point for Rollins, but now they're going to push him to the limit with him going up against Brock Lesnar. You know, Rollins had lost everyone in his a group of guys with Kane and J&J Security, but going into Monday Night Raw, the storyline of Raw was rebuilding the Authority. We never saw Rollins with Triple H or Stephanie, but we saw him get the band back together with Kane and J&J Security, even though by the end of the night, Brock had taken out Jamie Noble with you know, the broken ribs. It seems as if you know, that Rollins is going to have help in this match, basically. And it's not going to be one-on-one. It's not going to be showing off how good Seth Rollins is and seeing how, you know, good he can have a main event match against Brock Lesnar and not have all of the obstacles of everybody running in and everything like that. But now it seems as if Brock Lesnar is the babyface, which puts them into a weird spot. It puts them into a spot where he doesn't have to win the championship, because I don't think that WWE is at its greatest and Brock has the championship. He's not on Monday Night Raw. He's not on the pay-per-views and things like that. But I was really interested in this match with, you know, Rollins trying to see how good he was going to be as a babyface one-on-one going up against the big monster Brock. And it's not as if I don't care about this match, because it's Brock versus Rollins still. It's going to be a damn good match. It's just fucking Kane. I mean, I know some people really got angry with, you know, Rollins coming out and helping Kane beat Ambrose. But it's just a match on Monday Night Raw. When it comes down to it, basically, we only really care about the pay-per-views anyways. I just don't want to see Kane in the same role of helping Rollins and Rollins keeping the title like this. Rollins is a damn good champion. He's a damn good wrestler. I want to see him wrestle one-on-one and show off his skills, to show off how really good he was. By the time the Shield broke up, you know, Rollins was the guy really being showcased in these matches with his leaps off the Titantron, and you know, he was really proving how good he was. You know, when the Shield was sort of put together, you could tell that at the time Dean Ambrose was the leader of the group. Roman Reigns was the future of the group. And it seems sort of like if Rollins was like the Cody Rhodes of the group. He was like, you can tell he was talented, but you thought when they broke up, he was going to be the guy that sort of got left in the background. And Rollins ended up being the first guy to win the Money in the Bank and then go on to cash it in and become the champion. And you could tell that really, you know, he was the guy that WWE was really building around for the future. You know, he might not be what Roman Reigns was, where he was the great white, you know, he's not white, but, you know, the great hype, I guess you can say, the guy that they were building up for WrestleMania, winning the Royal Rumble, winning, you know, the main event of WrestleMania, and being the next John Cena. He would be the guy that just would be the building block of the future, the guy that would be able to go out and wrestle great main events, and the guy that would be able to show off that he is a great wrestler, and that, you know, when he is the heel champion, you know, he deserves to be there. So we'll see what this match is about. But, you know, they flipped the script on Monday. You know, Brock is the babyface. It's weird to see him in that role. We haven't seen him in that role since, you know, coming into WWE after WrestleMania 28. He's always been portrayed as this heel, whether if he was, you know, you know, going out there fighting Cena, or going out there and fighting CM Punk, or, you know, the other guys that he's fought. You know, there's been rumors out there for a while of Brock, you know, being used as the babyface. And, you know, definitely he'll sell a lot of t-shirts for Suplex City. But will he, you know, draw viewers into Monday Night Raw when he's sort of being portrayed as a sympathetic babyface, being beat down by the authority, sort of being treated just like everybody else has been treated for the last while? Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Bridge coming to you here. Last night on Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar fucked up a car. He fucked it up big time. Street Fighter 2. I'm loving all these photoshops that people are doing where they're putting Brock Lesnar into the Street Fighter 2 game, you know, in the bonus round where you have to beat up the car. Really fun to see that. Honestly, when it was doing it, I didn't think of it, and it just makes me love Twitter for the fact that people are able to think of this and make this before the, you know, the segment on television is even over. I know that, you know, the doom was coming for the Cadillac almost the minute that they introduced it. People were already calling the shots that Brock was going to mess that thing up. But honestly, when I think about it, I think about, you know, Battleground coming up, and the story is coming up that basically, you know, Seth Rollins is going to have to fight Brock Lesnar alone. You know, the story at the beginning of this was it looked like Seth Rollins was the babyface, that, you know, it was sort of like Brock Lesnar was pairing himself with the authority, and the Triple H was picking him as his guy to go in there and fuck Rollins up. The storyline is basically that Triple H wants Rollins to prove himself, that he doesn't need the help, that he is, you know, the best wrestler in WWE. He is the guy that, you know, he thinks he is. You know, Triple H wants to know that, you know, he's hitching his wagon to the prize horse in town. And beating Brock Lesnar at the pay-per-view is going to be what does it. Honestly, I really thought that this was going to be an easy slam dunk case, that Rollins was going to be beating Brock and Brock would not get the championship. I think everybody knows from watching the videos that I was really against Brock Lesnar being champion, seeing how he was not a part of the show that much as champion last year. And I don't see a short run for Brock Lesnar as being champion if they do put the belt on him again. Honestly, with last night, you know, J&J Security, Jamie Noble, you know, got his arm broke, and the other one was getting thrown around. Joey Mercury, he took the big bump on the windshield. I was hoping he was going to be a lot like Farouk in The Nation when Stone Cold Steve Austin drove the Ford down to the ring, and somebody took a bump and they went through the windshield. One of the craziest bumps I've ever seen in wrestling. You know, definitely a bump that you have to be real jacked up to take it. You had to be really into the moment. I'm sure that, you know, if you asked the guy once he took it, I'm sure he didn't even feel it until after. And I'm sure he woke up the next morning and he felt like he got hit by that truck. But I thought it was funny that WWE was running a promotion at that time where they're going to be giving away the Stone Cold Steve Austin truck that they were featuring on Monday Night Raw week in and week out. I believe it was a Ford F-150, I'm pretty sure. And then they ended up giving the car away. I'm hoping that when they gave the car away, they got the windshield fixed. I'm sure they did. That'd be like when WWE gave away the house at the In Your House inaugural pay-per-view. If they would have really had the wrestlers have the big wrestling match in the house like they did in the commercial, and then really tear it up and just say, here you go, guys. You got a house now, even though it's demolished. But I think that next week, Kane will come back from his vacation in Hawaii, and at this point Brock Lesnar will be on the show once again, and it'll be his job to take Kane out of the situation. And then when it comes to the pay-per-view, it's going to have to be Rollins versus Brock one-on-one. At that point, I'm really looking at Triple H to be the wild card in the situation, and as of right now, I think that Triple H is going to fuck Rollins, and that it's basically going to be Rollins losing the championship to Brock. Brock will get the win, and it'll be Brock and Triple H on top of the WWE, and that is how you're going to get to the Triple H versus Rollins match that people have been talking about for SummerSlam for quite some while. It didn't really seem like it was going to come together that fast, but I mean, with the talk with Rollins before the match at the last pay-per-view when it was Rollins versus Ambrose in the main event, and it was Stephanie and Triple H giving the pep talk. Stephanie was basically telling Rollins to fuck off, but it was Triple H, you basically giving him the words of advice. And then last night, it was Triple H telling Rollins that he needed to do something that Brock wouldn't expect, and that was Rollins took it as going out to the ring and calling him out, which led to his demise. He didn't get beat up, but he did look like a wuss running away and running through the crowd and getting the hell out of there as Brock took the championship and posed with it on top of the Cadillac. But I can easily see Triple H fucking him. But what if Triple H fucked him and then Rollins kept the championship, finding some way to win, either by technicality or some other way, and then it's Triple H versus Rollins. I think everybody knows how big of a Triple H mark I am, and I would love to see it. I mean, WrestleMania 30, I was going crazy. I really believe that there might be a chance that Triple H really did beat Bryan and go into the main event and find a way to take that championship. Then again, during that TLC match, that was Cena versus Orton, I really thought that Triple H would just get pissed off at the match and walk up there, climb the ladder, and grab the belt for his own and say, fuck it, this is mine now. We'll have to see what goes down. It's going to be fun at the pay-per-view. I just found out I'm not even going to be home to watch it. Much like Jim is on vacation. He's in San Diego right now. I'm going to be in Florida. The day that Battleground happens, I think, is the day that I get to Florida. I fly overnight Saturday to Sunday. So we'll see what goes down. Maybe I'll talk somebody into making some videos for me on the channel so you guys will have a review up. Maybe I'll have a guest reviewer, or maybe I'll just review it myself. Since I always find some way to have some downtime. People always make fun of me for making videos when I'm on my vacation. But what else am I going to do? I love wrestling. Love you guys. Peace out, everybody. Main event time. Seth Rollins going up against Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at WWE Battleground 2015. This is going to be a big match. This is why people are going to be watching Battleground on the WWE Network. This is why people are going to be pumped up for wrestling on Sunday, is seeing the return of Brock Lesnar to come back to WWE. The Beast in the East special that aired live from Tokyo was a huge, overwhelming success for everyone that was involved. We got to see Brock Lesnar make his return match in a match killing Kofi Kingston. This match was joked about for months, and then at the last minute, WWE almost had cold feet pulling the match, but they decided to go through with it. They didn't give Kofi barely any offense. I believe he tried to hit a drop kick early in the match, and within 2 minutes, it was all she wrote. But you could tell that Brock Lesnar is fixated on getting that WWE Championship back. That is what he fights for. He wants it. Seth Rollins last year was the one guy to almost hold the Money in the Bank briefcase for as long as you're able to hold it. He ended up cashing it in at WrestleMania 31. When you think about what the Money in the Bank briefcase means, when you go back to, Money in the Bank was held at WrestleMania each and every year. It was for the winner to win that briefcase and hold on to that contract for a year and cash in on the grandest stage of them all, becoming the WWE Champion in the main event of WrestleMania. Finally, at WrestleMania 31, we got to see that play out the way that it was made when that belt, or when that concept to go after the belt was created at WrestleMania 21, when Edge won the first Money in the Bank ladder match. From there, he would go on and cash in at I believe what was the name of that show? New Year's Revolution, whatever it was. It always gets me mixed up. But when Edge cashed in after the Elimination Chamber match, everyone was in shock and awe. Nobody knew that you were able to cash in 24/7. It was almost like WWE changed the game at the last minute. But, it always makes it very fun, very exciting. This match, to me, honestly, would mean a little bit more if Roman Reigns was involved to sort of play off the match, that all three guys will go into Battleground fresh, and it's not like, Roman and Brock Lesnar wrestling an entire match before Seth ran out there, made it a 3-way. And even though he had lost earlier in the night, that, he didn't go into the match, fresh as a daisy while everybody else beat the hell out of each other before he got there. But when you have the briefcase, you're the guy that says when the match starts, and that's what he did. After Money in the Bank, when Seth Rollins beat Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins declared himself the greatest WWE champion of all time, which basically sent shockwaves to the entire WWE. You could tell that the Authority almost turned their back on Rollins at that point, sort of saying that his head was bigger than what was going on. Once Brock made his debut, Seth was able to get the band back together, in his own words, with Kane making his return, J&J Security. But over the past 2 weeks, we've seen Brock dismantle all that Seth Rollins has created, basically by breaking Kane's leg on Monday Night Raw, by just all out injuring J&J Security. He took, Jamie Noble, broke his back, broke his arm, broke his rib. The guy's done. He ain't showing up. There's nothing but a miracle that's going to be helping Seth Rollins at Battleground. But I think the overwhelming storyline that revolves around this match is Triple H and the real Authority, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie, in the past few months, has seemed like she's gone really cold on Seth Rollins, even though he's been WWE champion since WrestleMania. He's won every match that he's competed in, unless he ran away, like the match after the match after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. But I don't know really where the Authority went south on Seth Rollins, because he is still the WWE champion. He is really standing up to fight anybody that he can. It doesn't seem like he knows that Brock, if he gets a hold of him, can really kill him. But it's not like he's really running away from Brock. If you remember Seth, this isn't his first time getting in the ring with Brock. They had their match at the Royal Rumble. It was a three-way match involving John Cena as well, going after the WWE Championship that was around the waist of Brock Lesnar at the time. I believe it was the first championship shot for Seth Rollins as well. But it was really the outcoming. Rollins still had the Money in the Bank briefcase. I remember there was people who thought that the match would happen and either Cena or Lesnar would win, and then Rollins would cash in to become champion once it was over, and he would run into WrestleMania 31 as the champion. But it ended up that he left with it. But this month, when Brock and Lesnar made their debut, or fucking screwed that up, but when they made the return to Monday Night Raw, it sent shockwaves to the WWE big time. I didn't know if Lesnar was the heel or if he was a babyface, but it looks like going into the match, Lesnar is going to be a babyface. I don't know. I really don't want the belt on Lesnar. In my mind, I don't want him to be a transitional champion. I think that he's going to wrestle Battleground. He's probably going to wrestle at SummerSlam. And then we're probably not going to see him again for a little while. With that contract, WWE doesn't bring Brock in for a ton of shows. But he is around for some ones that they really wanted to do it. Brock has been used on SummerSlam the past few years. But SummerSlam seems to be a show that people are going to order just because its name is SummerSlam. Battleground is a show for the past few years that just really hasn't lived up to the hype. It just seems like July is not must-see WWE pay-per-view, and they wanted to keep the numbers for the WWE Network going. So they used their money. They used it wisely. They brought in Brock Lesnar. This is probably the biggest match that WWE could be having this month to keep people really interested in what is going on. But we'll see. Honestly, in my opinion, I think that Rollins is going to be keeping the belt. He's going to find some way to win. But I think that I'm giving in to the rumor that Rollins is going to be wrestling Triple H. I think that Triple H is going to be mad that he built a stable for Rollins with J&J Security and Kane. And basically, Rollins got all three of those members killed. So, I think that Triple H is going to be mad that he built something for Rollins that he took for granted. And he's probably got a big head thinking that he's bigger than the Authority and better than what's going on. Triple H set up this match as a way for Rollins to prove himself to him. So, we'll see what happens. But honestly, in my opinion, I see Rollins keeping the belt. How you have Brock lose and not get it, I got no clue. But the big rumor is SummerSlam, Triple H versus Rollins. could be a good match, and it could be something that I get really, really fired up about, seeing Triple H wrestle one more time. Triple H has wrestled on the last few WrestleManias last year because they were doing Evolution versus The Shield. He wrestled, 2 extra shows, but he is the guy that likes to keep that suit jacket on and the tie, but when it comes down to it and there's time to get into the ring and there's money to be made, Triple H is that guy who will step up to the plate. He'll take his whipping and try and put WWE in a better light. So we'll see what goes on with the show. I think that Battlegrounds could be a good show, but honestly, in my opinion, Lesnar versus Rollins is the one match that I really care about. Owens versus Cena is the match that I don't really care about as much because we've seen it in the last 2 pay-per-views. But it really could stand up and surprise me. If you get anything out of Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, if you get anything out of Orton versus Sheamus, it could end up being a good pay-per-view. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Reach coming to you here tonight, talking about the big 2015 Battleground show. Big main events coming up. Undertaker maybe being involved in this somehow, but Brock Lesnar going up against Seth Rollins. This is one of the big matches for a big pay-per-view that I really have no idea what's going to happen. Undertaker making his return, coming in, getting revenge on Brock Lesnar. He's already broken Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, and now he's broken his baby brother Kane's leg. Rollins is going into this match with the storyline basically being that he doesn't have any help. Triple H and Stephanie haven't really been in the picture for the last few weeks. Kane got his leg broke. J&J Security got all fucked up by Lesnar. Some people may be thinking that the Shield might be playing a role in this match. All I know is this is going to be your typical Lesnar match that we've seen with Cena and Kofi Kingston, and it's just Brock coming in and showing his overwhelming just strength and just going to be beating people down and beating people up. It's just going to be suplex after suplex. Brock's going to be issuing pain. Brock's probably going to make the mistake where he has Lesnar, Lesnar's probably going to make the mistake of having Rollins beat very early, but just wants to inflict more pain on him for embarrassing him at WrestleMania 31, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, taking away his WWE title, and I don't know what the hell's going to happen. So many things could happen. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. We know that Ambrose and Reigns are on the same page. We know that basically because Ambrose had the match against Bray Wyatt, and then as soon as that match started, Roman Reigns came out of the back and attacked Bray, and from there, Dean Ambrose just disappeared. He didn't make it a 2-on-1 ordeal. He just let the guys go out there and fight because that's what they wanted to do. We even saw them tag on SmackDown, so we know that's a team, but we know that the slimy Seth Rollins, we've never seen Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns really get revenge for Seth Rollins breaking up the Shield. We never saw that happen, so we would think that Reigns and Ambrose still hate Rollins, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why would Undertaker, Kane, why would they want to help Rollins? I know that they don't really have their paths crossed. Some people bring up the fact that the Shield did the triple powerbomb on Taker, taking him out after WrestleMania 29, that being where they still want revenge on there. But some people think that there's going to be a 3-on-2 Shield versus Undertaker and Kane match. It goes back to the beginning. I don't see how Shield comes together. So this is a match that really we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be one of those ones where you have to see it. You want to see this live. It's going to be a big match. I got Rollins keeping the championship. I got Brock whooping his ass. Other than that, I really don't know what happens tonight, but I'm looking forward to it. I can tell you that much. It's going to be a ton of fun. Battleground 2015, WWE Network.